How can you make a woman long for you? Does ignoring her make her want you even more, or does it risk her slipping away? In this video, we're diving into the psychology behind giving her space and understanding how strategic detachment can actually draw her in more effectively. A lot of men worry that if they don't constantly reach out, she'll forget about them, that skipping a text or not responding right away will make her lose interest. Ironically, this approach often has the opposite effect. When a woman isn't immediately responded to or plans get rescheduled, curiosity builds, and so does her desire. The key lies in understanding how interest works. When something feels just out of reach, human nature has us wanting it even more. Consider this concept: attention currency. How much of this currency are you spending on her? The more freely you hand it over, the more it loses its value. Women often thrive on attention and the thrill of seeking it out. When you give too much too easily, you take away her drive to pursue it, potentially making things feel flat and predictable. However, keeping her intrigued doesn't mean vanishing completely. It's more about avoiding the urge to respond instantly or make her the sole focus when you're around. Instead of always texting her morning and night, let there be a pause. If you see her at a social gathering or around the office, avoid placing all your focus on her. Ignoring her in this sense isn't about neglecting. It's about withholding just enough attention to allow her to naturally crave more. This balance taps into her need to earn your interest, ultimately strengthening the connection. Number 1. Checking in. Casual check-ins with a woman, like a quick text just to say hi, often serve as a subtle reminder of your presence. Yet this simple act can reveal a lot more than you might intend. It can hint at a need for her reassurance. Women are naturally perceptive, often able to detect the underlying neediness in such messages. When a man sends a message without a real reason, aiming mostly to secure her validation, it tends to feel desperate rather than endearing. Another common tendency among men is the idea that they must reply to every message right away, assuming it's respectful or even necessary to maintain interest. But here's where the psychology comes into play. People usually place higher value on things that aren't always available. Think about reaching out to a public figure you admire. You wouldn't expect an immediate response because their time and attention are perceived as highly valuable. Now imagine they responded instantly every single time. It might start to seem less impressive, as if they suddenly had all the time in the world. Similarly, women are naturally drawn to men who seem occupied with their own lives. A man who's constantly available, texting at every opportunity, can give off the impression that he doesn't have much else going on, which can erode her perception of his value. Women often test this by initiating frequent texts to see how much attention they can command. When a man quickly and eagerly responds each time, his attention begins to feel less special, and her attraction might fade as a result. Number 2. Longing for love. A powerful element within the psychology of ignoring a woman lies in the concept of longing. For many women, longing feels synonymous with love. In her mind, the excitement of hoping for a message, staying up late in anticipation, and missing someone creates a deep emotional experience she associates with love. Consider popular romance stories aimed at women, like Sex and the City. The character Carrie Bradshaw ultimately ends up with Mr. Big, a man who never quite gives her his full attention, leaving her to yearn for more. This dynamic isn't just part of the plot. It's a recurring theme because it resonates. For many women, the emotional pull of longing is intertwined with the feelings of romance and connection. This is where nice guys often miss the mark. By always being available and attentive, they leave little room for a woman to experience anticipation or excitement. There's no waiting for the next text, no wondering when they'll see him again, no curiosity about whether he'll stop by to say hello. He's always there. Although many men view this as being authentic and attentive, it's actually removing the very thing that she craves, the thrill of longing. This is why the subtle art of ignoring a woman can be so effective. By holding back a bit, you allow her the space to yearn for your attention, increasing its value in her mind and making the experience feel more meaningful. Number 3. A mental challenge. Another key factor in understanding the psychology of ignoring a woman is the idea of creating a mental challenge. Women are naturally drawn to a man who isn't easily figured out. someone who keeps her guessing about his feelings and intentions. She enjoys the intrigue of wondering, does he truly like her? How much interest does he have? Or perhaps, is he seeing others? This uncertainty becomes a compelling puzzle for her to solve. Unlike men, who might often view relationships through the lens of physical attraction, women usually seek emotional intrigue and the allure of figuring someone out. They know most men would be interested physically, so they often add an element of suspense by taking their time. Men, on the other hand, can spark a woman's curiosity by maintaining a subtle air of mystery and making their attention something she has to work for. For many women, this mystery even fuels conversations with friends. She'll engage in girl talk, analyzing every small detail of his behavior, dissecting what each gesture or lack of response might mean. If a man denies her this mental challenge, her interest may start to fade. When there's nothing left to decode or question, conversations with friends become bland, and she may feel an elusive spark is missing. This lack of mental engagement often leads to statements like, "It just doesn't feel right," or "something is off." Number 4, the hot and cold behavior. The strategy of alternating warmth and distance in dating plays a fascinating role in building attraction, and it taps into a psychological principle rooted in unpredictable rewards, a phenomenon observed by psychologist B.F. Skinner. Similar to the thrill of gambling, where the uncertainty of winning keeps players hooked, this push and pull dynamic in relationships creates a psychological rush through unpredictability. Imagine a woman who at times lights up when she sees you, giving you her full attention, and at other times seems withdrawn or preoccupied. This inconsistency doesn't just intrigue you, it heightens your desire for her attention, fueling a subconscious craving for the highs of her interest. On the other hand, if her demeanor were entirely cold, you'd likely lose interest, assuming she's either uninterested or seeing someone else. And if she constantly showered you with attention, it would likely diminish her allure. Maintaining this balance is key. If you catch yourself becoming too attentive, take a step back. Let her experience a bit of distance so she has the chance to miss your presence. This rhythmic dance of warmth and detachment keeps things interesting and dynamic, maintaining that spark of attraction. Think back to someone who's been unpredictable with you, maybe a coworker who's flirtatious one moment and aloof the next. Their inconsistency is magnetic because it invites a challenge that's inherently engaging. Number 5, autonomy. The final and an essence of attraction often boils down to a man's sense of autonomy, his ability to be truly self-directed and not overly influenced by a woman's presence. Autonomy is magnetic. It's a quality that sets a man apart as confident, secure, and in control of his life. Men who lack this independence may interpret advice like "ignore her once in a while" as mere game playing. This is because they tend to view their relationship with a woman as the top priority, often above their own goals and commitments. But a man who's genuinely invested in his own pursuits, whether it's career growth, fitness, or friendships, naturally displays this ignoring behavior. It isn't a tactic. It's simply a byproduct of living a full, self-assured life. Imagine a scenario. A woman you're seeing excitedly proposes meeting up on a Tuesday evening. While you might feel tempted to drop everything to spend time with her, consider your original plan to go for a run that evening. A self-assured man might respond with, "I'd love to, but I have a run scheduled then. How about later in the evening or another day?" This response reflects his commitment to his life structure and interests, which only enhances his appeal. In contrast, a man who's overly concerned with her interest might skip his run, convincing himself he'll make it up later, yet acting out of fear she might lose interest. Ironically, by valuing his own plans and showing his independence, he becomes more intriguing to her. She sees that he has his own world and isn't centering her immediately, which deepens her interest. Autonomy doesn't mean never prioritizing a woman. It's about balance, knowing when to focus on her and when to uphold your commitments. Many men swing too far toward abandoning their lives to chase a woman's attention, which can quickly make them lose their own sense of value. A woman, in the long run, wants to feel like she's gradually winning a place in your life. This steady progression heightens her appreciation of your attention, building a natural momentum that keeps her interested and engaged, as she realizes your life is something she has to earn her way into. All right, There are 5 aspects in the psychology of ignoring a girl. If you found this video valuable, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment with any topics you'd like covered in future videos. Your feedback is essential in shaping content that resonates with you. Remember, the goal is to keep a balanced approach to your priorities. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, remain masculine.